Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for Deadpool versus the Punisher, which is a 5-issue collection that I picked up from the library for when I went on vacation to the beach a few weeks back. And gotta tell you, this was, it was not what I wanted. So I am a Deadpool fan. Mostly with the comics. The movies are pretty good. I have not seen Deadpool 3, by the way. I've been trying to get out for 3 weeks to go see it. There was even a drive-in, a couple of hours away, thing you could go to, a drive-in theater, and I couldn't make it to it. So I'm pretty bummed about that. But anyway, I love The Punisher. Now, I wouldn't say The Punisher has amazing comic runs. I haven't read them, at least. The ones I have read, I do enjoy quite a bit, but I love Punisher films, aside from the Dolph Lundgren film. And I think he's pretty much one of those characters that I like because of the vengeance nature of what they do with him. And I think that's pretty cool. This is actually a book written by Fred Van Lente, and the artist is Pierre Perez. Pierre Perez? Look, I'm going to say it again, like I said in my previous review for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Volume 1. I'm sorry, because I can't pronounce names to save my fucking life. Anyway, so Deadpool versus the Punisher. I was not about to buy this, and I'm glad I didn't, because it was not very good. Basically, Deadpool has a buddy who is an older, rich man who may or may not be tied to crime somehow, some way, and he has a kid, and I think it's a wife, too, like a babysitter, I don't know. Anyway, Frank Castle, of course being a guy who hunts down and kills criminals and crime lords and stuff, he eventually goes after that guy while Deadpool is in the house. And when he goes after the guy, it turns into eventually a Deadpool versus Punisher situation. Deadpool thinks the guy is innocent, just trying to protect his wife and son, babysitter and son. I can't remember, it's been a few weeks, like I said. And also, Frank is like, no, Wade, you're wrong. I gotta kill that guy, he's bad. And if his son and whatever get in the way, they're gonna have to die too just to kill this guy. Which I think is a little bit out of character for Punisher. The book tries so hard to have humor, trying to be funny. And this is the thing. Post the Deadpool movie, everybody's trying to write Deadpool like every fucking Marvel character ever written outside of the Punisher, outside of Wolverine. And I hate it. I think everybody post-Deadpool film who's written a Deadpool thing, I've not liked. I think he typically is awful. They just have him shouting like in here, random shit, random catchphrases like a sitcom character, like chimichangas and stuff like that. It gets old. It gets annoying. All of that fairly quickly. Deadpool versus the Punisher should have been fun, but even the art drags it down through the mud. There's a couple of jokes in here I laughed about, one in particular where Punisher, as a running gag in the story, has to keep shooting Deadpool in the face to get him to stop remembering what they're doing in the middle of a fight. And at the end of each of the issues, they show who won that fight, because they have a lot of fights in here. And every time you shoot Deadpool in the head, I didn't know this, but maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not a canon thing, I don't know. Apparently, he forgets his memory. Never heard that, never knew that, it makes sense, it's kind of funny for how they utilize it here, whether it is a canon thing or not, who gives a shit. It's fun how they utilize it here, and how the Punisher does things to Wade here, because the Punisher probably couldn't survive fighting Deadpool, but he tries to here. He shouldn't be a match for Deadpool, in my opinion. He's just a guy, but he's kind of like a Batman guy, just without the ninja training. He has Marine training from the military. So, I don't know. I don't know, but Punisher does his best to survive, and keeps trying to wipe Deadpool's brain away, literally, after shooting him over and over again in the face. One of the best gags in here that I loved, and this is kind of a spoiler for a joke, but I don't think you'll want to read this book anyway because of how bad it was. One of my favorite gags in here is that Deadpool, every time, Frank, I almost said Frankenstein. Every time Frank shoots him in the face, he has to take the mask off of Deadpool's body while it's healing up, and he doesn't remember, and put a new mask from, like, a duffel bag that he has filled with Deadpool masks, which, where did he get that? Why does he have that? He just keeps putting Deadpool new masks on his face over and over again. So that's kind of fun. I liked that. But the art and everything else kind of make it suck. The Punisher is not incredibly written here. There's one banter scene between the two where Deadpool tricks him into saying something that Oh, that scene, dude. The cringe I felt. I was reading that in the car, and I finished this book at our hotel room, my wife and I's hotel room, and I hated it. I hated it. I read this, and then I had to read a Star Wars book, collection, comic collection, whatever, trade, from John Jackson Miller, which you probably know what that is automatically by me saying that name. I had to read that to kind of refresh the palate, if you will, because of how bad this was. Anyway, Deadpool versus the Punisher, it's not a recommendation at all. There's a book out there I've been looking at forever that's like Deadpool versus Wolverine before the movie came out, and I'm assuming it's a trade compilation of different comic issues and stuff, but I wasn't about to pay like $37 for that, because American comics are not worth the money anymore. This is a great example of one post-2016, 2015 even, that is just embarrassing. Embarrassing, dude. And this is something that should have been done a long time ago. Maybe Deadpool and Punisher met up, excuse me. Oh, God, the Freudian slip. Maybe they met up at one point once upon a time, and I just don't know about it, but this was not the one you should read if that ever happened. So, just letting you know. Deadpool versus the Punisher, I don't recommend it, even if you're a hardcore fan of either of these characters, because again, post-Deadpool movie back in the day, he's been written like shit. That kind of is sad. Punisher, they've neutered completely. This is before the big neutering that happened like in 2020, whatever, post-January 6th bullshit. This is pre-neutering of Punisher, where they took the skull away because they hated that conservatives were using it. They got rid of all of that shit later on. This is before that, so it's not as offensive as it could be. You could have Ninja Frank Castle, but you don't, which is good. So anyway, Deadpool versus the Punisher, what did you guys think about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know everything you think down below. What has happened to Marvel, dude? It's just a shame. It's been infiltrated and ruined, and this is a great example of that. For two characters that should be fun, because think of it in the comedic, formulaic sense. Usually in comedy films, think of Abbott and Costello, Three Stooges, even though there's three of them. Typically in movies like Lethal Weapon, you have a straight guy, and then you have the goofy one, you know? If you don't have a straight man in your comedy duo, like in this case it should be Frank Castle, who stays that way all the time, and the other character is supposed to be the goofier one, that's how you make comedy work a lot of the time. Not always, but a lot of the time. This should have worked out better, and it doesn't, because these people, these clowns they put in charge of all of these books nowadays, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know anything. So, anyway, take that as the mildest or heaviest hint to stay the fuck away from Deadpool versus the Punisher. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.